What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Scorsese Sports Podcast series. Hopefully this time I could finally get my stuff uploaded to YouTube, because I really got to get my voice out there. So I think I'm going to start a football channel. I think that's the way we're going to go, but there's going to be a majority of Vikings, I would say. Big-time Vikings, since, the playoffs are starting on Sunday. I think this is the best time to start it off. The Vikings play the New Orleans Saints, where not really anybody gives us a chance in the world. I'm going to say probably 10 to 15% of people think that Minnesota actually has a chance to win this game. And I can say I am with that group. But I'm going to give us about a 20% chance. I just don't see how the Vikings could pull this out. I really don't. Everything's against us. About 10, 15 minutes ago, I just got the alert on my phone that Mackenzie Alexander is officially ruled out. And then Mike Hughes, out of left field, was just placed on IR. So we're going to be rolling against a high-powered Saints offense. Hopefully guard Michael Thomas with Xavier Rhodes, absolute garbage. Trey Waynes, he's decent but not great. I assume they're going to have Jaron Kearse play the nickel. And I believe Chris Boyd, undrafted free agent from Texas. And then they're also going to be having Holton Hill, who I've seen some bright spots out of Holton Hill. But, I'm still, he's still nothing special. And he, I believe, is also from Texas. I think him and Boyd were teammates about 2-3 years ago. So they're definitely hurting going into this game. And we all know the narrative. Kirk Cousins can't win a big-time game. Kirk Cousins is 0-9 on Monday Night Football in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins can't get it done when the lights are brightest. That's 100% true, but this game will be played at 12:05. Okay, this game's going to be at noon. So it's quite possible. Kirk Cousins, we know what he is. He's nothing great, but he doesn't suck. He's a top 15 quarterback in the league. He can get it done if everything around him is perfect. You get Dalvin Cook running. You get the bootlegs going. The offensive line could give him at least 5 to 6 seconds. Just don't make him do too much. That's the best way to describe Kirk Cousins. It's literally the opposite of Drew Brees, who Brees could get it done with anybody, and it doesn't even matter he could have nobody and he'll make them special. That's why Drew Brees is an all-time great quarterback. So, what are my outcomes of this game? I expect the outcome to be the Saints are probably gonna put up 30. I don't know if Minnesota could put up 30 points against that defense. The Saints they have one of the top defenses in football. But so do the Vikings. I think the Vikings are starting to get back to where they used to be with Mike Zimmer a few years back. I have my own issues with Mike Zimmer, but I can save that for another podcast. Odds are that I'm going to start flipping out if we get blown out. If it's another 38-7 game, Mike Zimmer could pack his bags the next morning. I will fly out to Minnesota, and I will pack them myself. But it's hard to say because the Vikings are the type of team who could get blown out every Sunday, just completely get blown out and not even show up, or they could actually play a tight game and kick a last-second field goal to pull the upset. That's just the type of team this is. They're either going to break your hearts or they're going to make you cry out of tears, cry for joy. That's what this team is. There's never an easy game. If there's an easy game, they'll make it stressful on you. This is why Minnesota is the number one state for alcoholism. I kid you not. I saw it on Twitter. I made sure to check it myself. It's true. That's the number one reason because, us Minnesota fans, we love our teams. We will die for our teams. It's life or death when it comes to our teams. So that's why, that's why a lot of fans definitely take it too seriously, but it's also why it makes us fans the happiest when they look good on national television and make us feel great. So I'm going to do a quick breakdown of the offense and defense real quick. I have it on my phone here. So the offensive categories. The Saints are 9th in total yards per game, while Minnesota is 16th. The Saints are also 7th in passing yards, while Minnesota's 23rd because Kirk's been a game manager this season. But Kirk's also torn up bad teams, I would say. That's what a lot of people think he is. He's a great quarterback against bad teams. He's a below average quarterback against great teams. He just doesn't win the big game. You'll hear it all year long. And Minnesota, due to Dalvin Cook, is number 6 in the league in rushing, while New Orleans is only 16th because losing Mark Ingram's big. Not a lot of people talk about that enough. Losing Mark Ingram was huge. And Kamara had 14 touchdowns last season. He has like 6 total this year. I think he went, maybe even more, because I know he went off the last 2 games. I know he had a touchdown against Carolina for sure. But the Saints are also tied for third in points per game at 28.6. And Minnesota is 8th at 25.4. So it's about a field goal difference between the two offenses. Their third down percentage, New Orleans is 10th, and Minnesota is 9th. Minnesota gets about 42.8% of third down conversions, while New Orleans gets 42.8. I mean, they're literally 9 and 10. They're right next to each other. But the defense here, New Orleans is 11th in total yards per game. They only averaged 333.1 yards per game, while Minnesota is 14th at 341.6. Minnesota against the pass is 15th, and New Orleans is 20th. So these are two defenses that you could pretty much pass against. And Drew Brees is going to have a field day against Xavier Rhodes, the last time he played, he gave up 13 catches and over 100 yards to Devonta Adams. So what do you think Michael Thomas is going to do? If I'm New Orleans, I'm going to be targeting wherever Xavier Rhodes is. So Michael Thomas is probably going to have around 12, 13 catches, probably a touchdown. I mean, he's going to have a field day against Xavier Rhodes. Against the run, Minnesota's 13th, so it's kind of a 50-50 chance to see what happens if they could stop Kamara and former Viking Latavius Murray. The Saints are 4th. They give up less than 100 yards per game, and they actually haven't given up a 100-yard rusher, and they're in 42 consecutive games. So that's something to keep an eye out on. Points per game. This is probably one of the most important category, as Minnesota is 5th in 18.9 points per game. And while New Orleans gives up 21.3 points per game. They've also had a lot of shootouts, so that's a big portion. San Francisco comes to mind as one of them. Third down percentage, Minnesota's 19th, so Drew Brees is going to begin first down after first down. That's been my huge complaint with Minnesota this year and Mike Zimmer's defense is that they can't, for some reason they can't stop teams on third down. I mean, Mitch was going crazy with third downs. Aaron Rodgers was getting, because Rodgers was converting third down after third down after third down. And New Orleans is 6th. They give up about 34.8%, which is pretty crazy. And I'm definitely nervous because I just feel like this offense runs through Dalvin Cook. And if they end up stopping Dalvin Cook, I'm not really sure if Kirk can do it. Like, I don't think Kirk can make those 2, 3, 5, big-time throws that a franchise quarterback has to make. I mean, I believe everybody, especially if you're a Vikings fan, you've had your big share of question marks about Kirk Cousins. Can he get it done? Kirk can get it done if he doesn't throw the ball over 30 times. He needs to manage the game. You need to get Dalvin Cook. He needs to get about 20 to 25 carries, or even just 25 to 30 touches. Get him involved in the receiving game. And it would be nice if Adam Thielen could show up. You know what I'm saying? Like Adam Thielen has not shown up in the last month since he's been back. He should have played in that Bears game. He needed to get some work in. The key to this Vikings offense, yes, it is Dalvin Cook, but it's also Adam Thielen. Stephon Diggs can't just keep doing it all because teams are going to know, okay, let's just double Diggs, and they got nobody else. Rudolph is very slow, but he's consistent. So if you're in trouble, throw it to Kyle Rudolph's way because teams have 115 QBR just while targeting Kyle Rudolph, okay? I heard that on Score North yesterday or a few days back, that you just have to target Kyle Rudolph. That's all you have to do. And maybe we get some bootlegs going, and we get Irv Smith out in the flat, or we get Olabisi Johnson on a little zigzag route, something, in and out, anything. They have the weapons to compete with this Saints team. I just don't know if psychologically Kirk can. It's not necessarily he lacks the talent and he can't compete with these big-time quarterbacks. Kirk has all the tools. He's got all the talent. He's got the arm strength, the accuracy. He's got it all. It's just in these big-time games, he keeps falling short. And at this point, I almost think it's psychological. It's almost psychological. Where maybe because the media trashes Kirk more than any quarterback I've ever seen in NFL history. Ever. This team just wants to hate on the guy. It's almost at some point, how do you block out the media? You know, like how like Kirk is just so hated where it's almost just sticks in your head like, wow, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fail. So I'm really hoping good Kirk shows up. It's either you're gonna get a good Kirk or a bad Kirk. That's what this game falls on. You got to keep Drew Brees on the sideline. That's where Dalvin Cook will come into play. If you could keep Drew Brees on the sideline and hold New Orleans under 20 points, Minnesota's going to win this game. If it's a close game, Minnesota's going to win. But if the Saints get off early and like score 14 points off their very first two possessions, Kirk's not going to come back from that. You know, Kirk, he's just not going to. So the key here is going to be keep Drew Brees on the sideline. Don't make Kirk do a lot. Just feed Dalvin Cook and don't turn the ball over. Last year, this game when they were in U.S. Bank Stadium, the Vikings would have beat the Saints. But what happened was the entire shift changed once Kirk threw the ball to Thielen. Thielen was about to get in the end zone, and then he fumbled it, and then they took it back, I think, to I don't know if they returned it for a touchdown or if they returned it to midfield and they ended up scoring before halftime. I don't remember from the top of my head. But it just changed the whole thing. So you're going to have to win the turnover battle and keep Drew Brees on the sideline. And that's how Minnesota's going to win this game. So I'm going to cut this video short. And hopefully I could get up to YouTube before the game on Sunday. As this is Friday at 1:01. So I'm going to try to upload more. I'm trying to figure out how to upload my channel. If not, I will upload on SoundCloud. That's typically where I upload mine. I'm trying to get better with my podcasts and videos, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I really hope I start to get more followers, because I'm going to try to hopefully get this into something big. So thank you guys again for listening so much, and my name's Thomas Gorski. I'm the host. I don't remember if I said it at the beginning, but thank you guys so much for listening.